Three matchups to watch for in the game between my Alabama Crimson Tide and the Vanderbilt Commodores. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Kangaroo Black, coming back once again to talk about my Alabama Crimson Tide and these Vanderbilt Commodores who will be coming to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Bryant-Denny Stadium, Nick Saban Field. We going to talk about three matches to watch out for. All right, we ain't going to take long to get in the video, but if you want to read this article, you know I'm always on the internet looking for something to talk about pertaining to my Alabama Crimson Tide. But if you want to read this article where I'm getting this information from, you can go to the Vanderbilt Hustler. Come on, you heard me. The Vanderbilt Hustler. Yeah, they got their own media source too. Old Vandy. But anyway, three matchups to watch. Vanderbilt versus Alabama. Vanderbilt looks to repeat its 2024 victory against Alabama this weekend. And according to old KB, it won't happen. No way, no how, I don't see it. Of course, I didn't see it last year either. But hey, that's neither here nor there. My Alabama Crimson Tide going to handle business this Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Bryant-Denny Stadium, Nick Saban Field. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. But anyway, we know Vanderbilt coming in here, 5-0. They don't won every game by at least 20 points. Diego Pavia doing his thing. He just might be a Heisman Trophy candidate right now. And I tell you what, if he come in to Tuscaloosa, Bryant-Denny Stadium, Nick Saban Field, and beat my Alabama Crimson Tide, he sure enough will be a Heisman Trophy candidate. And Diego Pavia, he's still talking his stuff. He already said, before the season even started, that they going to beat Alabama and they going to own the state of Tennessee. He already said it. Then he come out and say if they just play the game, it won't even be close this Saturday. I beg to differ on that too. I beg to differ. But anyway, it is what it is. Let Diego Pavia talk his stuff. As I said, they done won every game by at least 20 points. I believe they sitting at number 16 in the rankings, coming off a win against Utah State. Now, they do got two Power 5 wins against Virginia Tech and South Carolina. So, they doing their thing. All the while, my Alabama Crimson Tide coming in at 3-1. Opening season loss against Florida State. Just coming off a big win against those Georgia Bulldogs on the road. You remember my Alabama Crimson Tide been a bad road team. But they went in to Athens, Georgia, Sanford Stadium, and beat them Bulldogs in their 33 home game win streak. That's what my Alabama Crimson Tide just did. But the thing is, that don't matter right now. That's in the past. We can't focus on that. We can't focus on the win that we got over Georgia and let it linger over into this week like we did last season. And just totally look over Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is not a team to be looked over. All right. You lost against them last season. That should be enough for you to have your whole focus on these Vanderbilt Commodores, because they coming on the road into Bryant-Denny Stadium to do the same thing that they did to you last season. We can't have that. And that is a fact. Now, this Vanderbilt team is better than what it was last season. And this Alabama team is better than what it was last season too. So, we'll see. But this article, I got an issue with it. It describes Vanderbilt as a heavyweight. It says this is a matchup between two heavyweights, and the results will have a massive implication for both programs. Now, that part is right. But describing Vanderbilt as a heavyweight, I disagree with. When did Vanderbilt become a heavyweight? They more like a middle lightweight. That's how I see them. And we're going to prove it. This Saturday, 3:30. You can believe that. I know Vandy had they moments this season. Every week, They having a moment, but they will not have a moment in Tuscaloosa. Not a good one. Not a good one. All the fun for Vandy ends in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. Now, and they might pick it back up after Saturday. But this 5-game win streak you on, it's about to end come Saturday at the hands of my Alabama Crimson Tide. You can believe that. You can believe it. Diego Pavia, you might get yours. You might eat. But the rest of the crew, you and your running back might eat, but the rest of the crew, null and void. And your defense, your secondary, is about to get torched. Torched. You can believe that. But anyway, let's get to these matches. What you need to look for. 3 matchups. Vanderbilt secondary versus Alabama's receiving corps. Mismatch. In all phases of the words. Mismatch. My Alabama Crimson Tide wide receiver corps finna go ham. Finna have a field day on this secondary. I have no doubt. But anyway, Vanderbilt's defense has allowed 205.6 passing yards per game on average this season. Now, I read something saying they're allowing 199 yards. It don't matter. It's all the same. But according to this article from the Vanderbilt Hustler, Vanderbilt defense has allowed 205.6 passing yards per game on average this season. Compared to their opponent's average offensive output, the Commodores have been effective at minimizing the passing game. I think they sitting up in the 80s in pass defense. So, not very good. But anyway, minimizing the passing game. Although this seems to point toward a strong secondary defense, Vanderbilt's success has predominantly come from its strong defensive front. Let me read that again. Vanderbilt's success has predominantly come from its strong defensive front. The Commodore secondary has shown some signs of weakness. Utah State threw for an efficient 28 of 38 with 5 different receivers scoring touchdowns. What? 28 of 38, 5 different receivers scoring touchdowns? Utah State? Come on now. So just imagine what my Alabama Crimson Tide about to do. Anyway, throughout that game, Vanderbilt's defensive backs only recorded 2 pass breakups. Number 10, Alabama's offense is far more explosive than any that Vanderbilt has faced thus far. Alabama has averaged 321.8 passing yards per game with 8 receivers having scored and 5 with double-digit receptions. Sophomore wide receiver Ryan Williams is a particularly dangerous deep ball threat, while senior receiver Jeremy Bernard is a very reliable option for the Crimson Tide's offense. In addition, Alabama's offensive line has performed well in pass blocking, allowing just a single sack against Georgia's formidable defense last week. They only allowed 2 pressures. Yeah, one of them was a sack, but they only allowed 2 pressures. That's it. My Alabama Crimson Tide offensive line. All right. 328.8 passing yards a game. I think my Alabama Crimson Tide will have over 350 passing yards on the back of Ty Simpson. That's what I think. I'll give y'all my bold claims at the end of the video. But anyway, 8 receivers. I think 8 receivers got touchdowns this season. I know Ryan Williams got 2 of them. Jeremy Bernard got about 5. Who else? Isaiah Horton, I think he got 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? A couple of more got receiving touchdowns too. That's all I know. That's all I know. But you got, I think Josh Quavers got 1. This no-name wide receiver got 1 against ULM. Freaking shit. Several of them got touchdowns. Several got receiving touchdowns. But anyway, it is what it is. Vanderbilt hasn't faced an offensive line of this caliber yet. So the defensive front it has relied on will likely be hampered. The Commodores must bolster their pass coverage, and Williams and company will make them pay. You damn right. You damn right. I think Lockzilla Brooks got a no, Lockzilla Brooks don't have one. But it's several Alabama receivers got a touchdown. Several of them. Several. But anyway, it is what it is, baby. We ready. We ready for you Commodores. But anyway, that defensive front, it's supposed to be pretty good. I think they got about 14 sacks on the season already. I believe. Let me pull up Vanderbilt real quick, man. Let me see. Let me see how many sacks Vanderbilt got already. But they doing their thing, man. They doing their thing. Vanderbilt has, let's see what a sack said. Is it in here? Sacks. Yeah, Vanderbilt got 14 sacks. 14 sacks. 7 forced fumbles. 6 fumble recoveries. So they doing their thing. 14 sacks. 7 freaking forced fumbles. 6 of them they recovered. And 3 interceptions. So Vanderbilt defense doing their thing. But like I said, they haven't faced the caliber of offense that my Alabama Crimson Tide possess. Nope, they ain't faced the offensive line like mine. They ain't faced a quarterback like mine. Sure ain't. And they definitely ain't faced a receiving core like mine. You can believe that. Let's move on. I didn't expect this video to be this long, but hey, it's all good. Anyway, the first one, Vanderbilt secondary versus Alabama receiving core. We know how that's going to work out. All right, Vanderbilt's run game versus Alabama's defensive front. That's interesting because Alabama been had issues on the defensive side of the ball as far as stopping the run. You saw what happened last week. You saw what happened against Florida State. You saw what happened against Vanderbilt, Oklahoma last year. You seen it, and Michigan. You seen it. Kane Womack, you better get your shit together. But anyway, this defensive coordinator for freaking Vanderbilt, man, he got a monster over there. Vanderbilt lead the nation in touchdowns so far this season with 33. Vanderbilt's run game. I said defense coordinator, but I'm talking about offense coordinator. But they lead the nation in touchdowns so far this season with 33 touchdowns. That is a lot. Most of these touchdowns have come on the ground, which is unsurprising given Vanderbilt's average 223.4 rushing yards per game. Kind of like Georgia. Three Vanderbilt players or Commodores. 3 Commodores have rushed for more than 200 yards so far this season. Two-way threat, Pavia, lead running back Cedric Alexander, and halfback Macklin Young. Vanderbilt's ability to truly balance the running and passing game has been its key to success so far, as opposing teams have simply had trouble addressing all aspects of Vanderbilt's offense. I can see that. Alabama's run defense is average, allowing 160.5 yards per game, ranked number 90 in the nation. That's below average. Opponents have averaged 4.3 yards per carry against my Alabama Crimson Tide, which is firmly above the national average. The Crimson Tide allowed 227 rushing yards against number 12 Georgia last week, whose running attack is similar to Vanderbilt's. No, it ain't. It's very much different than Vanderbilt's. Georgia don't use Gunnar Stockton in the run game like Vanderbilt uses Diego Pavia. But anyway, if Alabama can adjust, Vanderbilt's run game should light up the stat sheet. It will also help the Commodores win the time of possession battle. Not really. Georgia ran for 227 rushing yards, yet Alabama controlled the tempo of the game. Alabama had the ball 10 more minutes than Georgia, winning the time of possession, even though Alabama was throwing the ball a lot. But one thing Alabama did, Alabama kept it balanced. 36 run plays, I believe, 37 passing plays. Even though the run wasn't, like a Georgia, we can't run the ball like Georgia ran the ball, we still didn't abandon the run. Ryan Grubb never abandoned the run. So just because you can run the ball don't mean you win time of possession. So, but like Kane Womack said 171 of those yards from Georgia, those 227 yards, came on 6 plays. Georgia ran 24 plays for only 56 yards rushing. So, but anyway, I think it's going to be harder to contain this Vanderbilt run game because of Diego Pavia. So we'll see. We'll see. They might have a prolific run game, but we got a prolific passing game. And we can chew the clock in the passing game. Because guess what? You know what Ryan Grubb does? We ain't running the ball, but we eating up the clock with short passes, sustained drive. 11, 12, 13 play drives. And we passing the ball. Come on now. Yeah, that's what I like. Our passing game is just like the run game. Show wheels. So we can be efficient and effective in our passing game at chewing up the damn clock. And hopefully we can do that and keep Diego Pavia's ass on the damn sideline. Him and his damn cheerleader, freaking Johnny Manziel bum ass. Hopefully, but we'll see. But anyway, let me get on with it. This video kind of long, but anyway, let's go. And number 3, the third thing you need to watch for: Vanderbilt's hype versus the Alabama standard. You damn right. Vanderbilt ain't nothing but hype, but Alabama got a standard that they got to live up to. But anyway, Vanderbilt is one of the most exciting programs in college football this year. Yeah, because they doing something nobody expected. Anyway, while its 76 record last year showed signs of improvement, very few people expected a 5-0 start in 2025. Week after week, the Commodores exude confidence both on and off the field with stellar performance and creative play calling. For the first time in a long time, Vanderbilt football is being taken seriously. Yeah, you got to take them seriously, but you got to remember the caliber of teams that you are playing. Virginia Tech is not a very good team. They sitting here with a losing record right now. South Carolina, when you played them, their best players, Lenora Sellers, went down early in the game. That made a difference. Not saying that South Carolina would have won, but that made a difference. All right. And South Carolina ain't got the offense that Alabama got. Sure don't. But anyway, and I think my Alabama Crimson Tide defense is just a little bit better than South Carolina's. So I'm just saying. But anyway, it is what it is. But still, you got to take Vanderbilt seriously. Should have been taking them serious last season. But I think my Alabama Crimson Tide coming into this game, taking Vanderbilt as seriously as they possibly can. And trust me, Vanderbilt got their undivided attention. Because Alabama, remember what happens last year. All right. But anyway, however, beating Alabama on the road is a tall order for this program. Although the Commodores beat them, then number 12 South Carolina in Columbia. Okay. A very different road environment. The Gamecocks were missing their star quarterback for most of the game. South Carolina doesn't have the history and prestige of Alabama, though. Although Kalen DeBoer's tenure as the Tide's first post-Saban head coach has been shaken, Alabama's presence as a college football playoff contender still feels perennial. You damn right. Its win against Georgia has further asserted that and the fan base confidence will be at an all-time high as the Commodores enter Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saturday night. But anyway, as it says, Alabama's win against Georgia has further asserted that Alabama is a college football playoff contender. And the fan base's confidence will be at an all-time high when Vanderbilt come into Bryant-Denny Stadium. We need that stadium to be rocking. We need it to be loud. We need it to affect this freaking Vanderbilt's offense and Diego Pavia. Yeah, I'm asking help from the daggone crowd. Who would have thunk it? Asking help from the damn crowd against damn Vanderbilt. Make that make sense. I mean, Jesus, man. Anyway, Vanderbilt must have overcome an extremely tough road atmosphere, media expectations, and history to win this Saturday. If Vanderbilt drowns out the noise, it can stick with Alabama all the way. I don't know about that. But Diego Pavia, he done played in some big games. One was against Alabama last season, okay? Alabama trying to extract their revenge on freaking Vanderbilt, but I just look at it as taking care of business, doing what they supposed to do, doing what they didn't do last year. They looked over Vanderbilt last year. You definitely can't do it this year. You got a team sitting at 5-0, the same team that beat your ass last season. Come on, man. Had Alabama's Malachi Moore crashing out. Damn sure did. We can't have that this season. Hat on a damn hat. Hit Diego Pavia. Make his ass feel it. Make his ass feel it. Kane Womack, I don't want to see that damn 3-3-5 the entire game, especially on 3rd and long or 2nd and long. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see it. Every freaking time you line up in that shit, bad things happen for my Alabama Crimson Tide defense. Get your shit together, Kane Womack. Get your shit together. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Let me know what you think about these, what you need to watch out for. Yeah, these 3 matchups. I don't think Vanderbilt's secondary defense can hang with my Alabama Crimson Tide offense. And I know for a fact that Vanderbilt's offense gonna get theirs. Bend but don't break defense. That's what Alabama need to have. Bend but don't break. Diego Pavia, he gonna get his. Bend but don't break. Kane Womack. Yeah. In the hype versus the standard. Damn right. Alabama got a standard to uphold. But anyway, like I said, tell me what you think, man. And y'all be blessed. And remember, KB don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. And roll damn Tide.